Hello, this is Costa from Roxxare Instant Coaching, and today we'll be analyzing a game played by Razumov using Teemo in the top lane. So first off, I'm going to take a look at this guy's match history. So we see that he's Silver 3 with a respectable win ratio. He is a Teemo main with a very good win ratio for 81 games. He does have a decent KDA, and he always seems to go Ignite and Thunderlord's Decree. So this is the game we'll be analyzing. He loses the game, goes 9, 7 and 12 with a pretty high kill participation. He is against Akali in the top lane. And Akali goes 7, 9 and 9 with a 33% kill participation. So what I expect him to do is win lane and then be unable to carry the game. Let's see though what actually happens in this game.
Become one with the jungle.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
So Teemo starts Thorn's Ring, which is a pretty typical start for AP Teemo. Against Akali, I would suggest going to Thorn's Blade simply because you expect Akali to build magic resist, which she does. And you also expect her to have lots of magic resist in the runes because Akali is aiming not to lose lane too hard, so she can assassinate Teemo level 6. So Thorn's Ring may have been the suboptimal buy. I would have taken Thorn's Blade, but again, it's not very important. Both are okay starting items. So Teemo is pushing the wave level 1, but he's not zoning Akali from the CS nearly as much as he should. Let's slow this down a little bit. So he should be standing about around here to zone Akali from the CS, because you see Akali is trying to CS with a Q. And basically at this point Akali can do nothing to Teemo. Teemo can just bully the shit out of her. So that's exactly what he should be doing. He should be auto-attacking her and queuing her every time Akali comes up to take a CS. And in my opinion, he should be standing even further ahead, even closer to the minions. Because it's still early in the game, Zac has started bot side, so he should not be getting ganked this early. And even if he does, he has flash. Akali has no way of getting to him, so the gank is basically just Zac alone. So even if Teemo overextends to even like close to the turret, he's relatively safe from Zac. So at this point, Zac shows bot. Red team takes first blood. This should make Teemo go super aggressive, which he does, and he does a good job. Trying to harass Akali and deny her as many CS as possible. And this is probably a solo kill for Teemo. Yep, with Ignite, Akali gets greedy, Teemo has Ignite. Now, Teemo is not pushing the lane as hard as she could have, and that lets the Akali take these CS in the third. This is a small mistake. Teemo isn't very good at pushing early game, like pre-6 anyway, so he couldn't have done much. But in general, when your opponent goes back, especially if they don't have teleport, which in this case Akali did, you want to shove the wave in so that the enemy misses as many CS as possible. Teemo wards, so that's a pretty bad ward in my opinion, because the enemy jungler is Zac, and Zac has too many possible ganking paths. So he can go from here, he can go right there and like jump over. He could even go from right here and jump behind this wall if Akali manages to somehow push Teemo out. But Zac has no reason to gank from this bush. So I would suggest that a ward in Tribush against Zac, or maybe at his red buff, is much more effective than this ward over there. Because if Zac wants to gank from here, from there, or even from that bush, he's probably going to move through the Tribush, and it's going to give Teemo enough time to see Zac and fall back. Whoops, sorry about that. Teemo farming like normal, denying Akali some CS. He gets a turret shot, but that's not a problem at this point. He's too far ahead. Akali can't do anything against him yet. So Teemo tries to bait Akali into thinking he's gone back by stealthing. Oh wait, no. He was just chilling, waiting for Akali to push the lane out. Again, Teemo shrooms this bush. I would have shroomed the tri-bush first. Akali gets level 6, so once Akali gets 3 stacks, she should have kill potential. Teemo does a good job of planting this defensive shroom, because that means if he's standing somewhere around here and Akali jumps on him, then he can move towards the shroom and escape from her, or even kill her. Now, kind of unlucky that the minions step on the shroom. He should have maybe placed it further on the sides, so that the minions don't step directly on them. So Akali's going greedy. Teemo's Q was a little lucky there, making her not be able to proc her Q. He takes a couple of unneeded turret shots, but that's okay because Akali has to go back anyway. Akali goes for a very defensive build, so Spectre's count. Teemo should be pushing this wave, yeah, instead of going back, to try to deny Akali as many CS as possible. Akali's back, she only missed 1 CS, but that's okay. We see that there's a very big CS discrepancy between Teemo and Akali, and that should be expected in this lane. So Teemo goes for a first item, what's it called? Oh my god. I don't remember what the item is called, whatever. So he's going Stinger and Fiendish Codex into the item, gives attack speed, 20% cooldown reduction, and on-hit damage. I think this is not a very good choice. I think Teemo should rush Hextech Gunblade, simply because he needs the lifesteal to be the lifesteal and Spellform to be able to outduel Akali 1v1. He also needs the bonus physical damage because Akali is stacking magic resist, so some physical damage would be very good against her. Then the Spellform is okay for lane sustain, even though we don't expect Akali to harass too much. And the active can be very punishing to an Akali jumping on Teemo, because Akali basically has to use an extra dash after Teemo uses the slow, because Teemo can just kite back with his extra movement speed and the slow. So getting Hextech Gunblade would basically nullify one of Akali's dashes, so she would have 2 instead of 3, giving Teemo essentially some extra survivability. Plus the extra AP makes Shrooms do more damage, and his Q do more damage. Ignite messes Akali up, both flash. Teemo manages to... Akali manages to escape, Katarina comes, Teemo dies. So this is really a greedy play by Teemo. He should have not flashed behind the Akali and just farmed this wave, because now that he died, this wave is going to die to this wave, and so he's missing the 6 CS. Plus Akali's gonna do a good job and push the wave, even though it's a little risky because Kha'Zix is right there and he could kill her at any time. And then she also does a mistake of not killing the second wave, and now the wave is gonna freeze towards here, so Teemo is gonna have some free CS. Even though he did lose a couple. Teemo is missing some free CS, which shouldn't happen. Teemo follows Akali down to mid. He is a little bit late. Akali dies to Fizz. And now Teemo is going for a gank bottom lane, which I'm not sure is a good idea because Braum is a little late and Ezreal just came, so even if this gank works out, he wastes a lot of time. Which it doesn't. Katarina seems to come up, he kills everyone except for Ezreal, then dies, and then Fizz comes up to clean up. Fizz escapes, but see, at this point, even though that was a pretty good fight, Akali has managed to out CS Teemo by staying top lane and getting that free CS, simply because Teemo wasted too much time. He doesn't run TP, which in my opinion every top laner should, and as such, Akali, who is very behind, is now actually ahead of Teemo in terms of golden items. Furthermore, the Spectre Cowl is going to mitigate a lot of damage that Teemo does to Akali, so at this point Akali is starting to be a threat to Teemo's team. Hehe, to Teemo's team. Now Akali's being very greedy in proxying this wave. Teemo should still be able to 1v1 her. Yep. And this forces Akali. Is she forced back? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's forced back, so Teemo gets some free CS, but this wouldn't have happened if this Akali wasn't so greedy. Again, Teemo loses too many CS at the turret, which she shouldn't. 70 CS at 14 is not too bad for this level of play. Teemo is still able to 1v1 Akali with Ignite.
Shut down.
Teemo tries to join the fight, but he isn't too useful. He dies to Katarina. Braum and Zac escape with very low HP. Or to Akali. My bad, no Katarina. Again, Teemo should have pushed this wave in first before joining the fight, or not joining the fight at all. At this point, he's Teemo. He's not a very good team fighter anyways. He should be focusing on shrooming the map, shrooming topside. He's placing too many shrooms in lane, and that denies him some vision, like Tribal should have been shroomed, some of the rivers should have been shroomed or warded. And so, blue team doesn't have much vision control topside, while red team has a lot of vision control bottom side, for example, because they just took Dragon. And Teemo didn't correctly push the wave, and so this gives Akali some free CS and potentially a very good freeze right here. Let's see what happens. Akali chooses not to freeze the wave, she pushes it out, which in my opinion is a mistake. Or maybe it isn't a mistake. Teemo manages to get a couple of CS with a shroom. Akali goes for that proxy farming, which is definitely not a good idea. And so Akali should now die, yeah. So Akali dies to Kha'Zix. She was super greedy proxying the wave. Especially with no vision on Kha'Zix whatsoever. Bot lane is not doing a very good job right now. They're losing 2v2. Roman to stun out taking the turret. And again, Teemo goes back without clearing this wave. There's honestly nothing he could have done about bot lane at this point. He was too late. So this is basically a waste of time. Akali now has Hextech Gunblade. Teemo has Nashor's Tooth. Akali's 10 CS ahead. I'm expecting Teemo to no longer be able to 1v1 Akali without Ignite. He is a level ahead there. Teemo stealths here. That's a good play actually. Zac does not expect it. It was kind of risky though, because had Zac not passed through here, Teemo would have wasted time. Ezreal and Braum kill Akali. Wait, no, Ezreal and Bard kill Akali, my bad.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Teemo dies again in mid lane. So Teemo goes for hunting, guys, which is not a bad item, but it's not a a particularly cost-efficient item either. So again, I would have gone for the Hextech Gunblade or for the Abyssal Scepter, since the team has triple AP. Like the enemy team has triple AP. I think Hunting is a good item because it has very good synergy with the Shroom, but it isn't needed. So Teemo's farming top while his team is dying. That gives a free Infernal Drake. And again, there was nothing Teemo could have done about the Infernal Drake. So since he wasn't in the fight, he should have just have continued to push top instead of attempting to stop the Drake or something 1v3 that is clearly not possible. Teemo stills in this bush waiting for Tristana. Tristana never comes, she goes B. Teemo misses a couple of GS. He wastes a lot of time. Akali's doing a good job of pushing the wave. Kha'Zix and Fizz are doing a good job of stopping Akali. Again, this is probably a slight misplay by Akali. I think she could have killed Kha'Zix. Tristana is being stupid and solo pushing, and so that's a very easy kill for Teemo's team. Yeah, so Teemo is going for a Leandri's Torment. Debatable item choice. It's not bad by any means, but it's not the best. Teemo is baiting for Akali to try to take the turret. That's a good stealth. Akali goes in. Akali dies to Ignite. Plus the tower reveals her, so she can't hide. Now Teemo is doing a good job at this point pushing the wave and applying some pressure on the map, something that he wasn't doing. And let's see if he attempts to take the turret. No, he goes back, which is a bad idea. I mean, you have just killed Akali, you've seen some of the enemies going bot lane. Zac by himself, which was the only person he hadn't seen at that point, is not really a threat to him alone. So Teemo should have stayed top lane, pushed a couple of waves more, tried to go for the turret. Blue team is basically destroyed by Katarina ult. Akali greedily goes in for the kill. She dies 1v4. Teemo is doing a good job of getting some vision into the jungle since they're so pushed in. But he's not doing a very good job of applying pressure on the map. He's just stealthing and trying to go for kills. But you see, the thing is, you can't win a game just by killing the opponent, because you need to take an objective every time you get a kill. That's the best case scenario, or try to get an objective. Teemo is just stealthing and waiting for enemies to overextend onto him so he can kill them with a shroom and auto attacks. Which is honestly not the right way to play, in my opinion, because if the enemy team teams up, then Teemo is pretty useless at what he's trying to do, and Katarina will probably always be able to kill him. Plus, in a full 5v5 teamfight, since the enemy team has the Engage, has the Tristana, and has the Katarina, and the Akali, so they have good engage on Braum and Zac, and they also have a good teamfight because of the resets. I don't expect blue team to win any teamfight this game, even though Teemo is slightly ahead of Akali. So what Teemo should be doing at this point is trying to split push. Because as we can obviously see, these teamfights are definitely not working well for them. They are almost 10k gold behind, even though the score is pretty even. Teemo dies. That's a questionable Bardo. The Kazakhs kill Zac. Akali 1v2s. Yeah, at this point Akali is pretty strong. Plus going for a pretty tanky build. Red team aces blue team. They, luckily enough, they don't take an objective for it. Now, blue team should at this point try to ward around around Baron, because they have no vision. Again, Teemo is doing this thing where he's waiting for someone to be stupid, which doesn't work out with him. He wastes time. Akali pushes top. So this is a trend we've been seeing a lot in this game, and I think that's a playstyle problem with this Teemo. Again, we see Teemo staying mid, trying to outpush the opponents. Honestly, he doesn't have much of a choice at this point, because if he starts top lane alone, the enemy team can probably just go for the 4v5 teamfight and win the game. So he's doing a good job of stalling the game. It's just that he should have started split pushing a lot earlier to try to apply some pressure to make his team not have to fight 5v5. Teemo's going for the Rylai's. Now, taking into account that he already has Leandry's Torment, that's a very good item because it synergizes very well with Leandry's. And it can also give a slow to his potion and to his Q. Put some shrooms down to clear the wave and goes for the 1v1 on Zac. He has the flash. Zac manages to escape, but he dies to Ezreal. So well played by Ezreal. And so at this point, Teemo's team should be trying to get a 4v5 fight, which they do. Katarina dies, she gets exhausted. Bard dies to Tristana, and Teemo wins the fight versus team along with Ezreal. Oh wait, but he's the only one alive, as Tristana manages to get a Quadra. So Teemo goes for the turret, he takes it. Or does he? Yeah, he takes it. He doesn't kill Zac, he keeps pushing. Now Teemo is out of mana, so what he's doing is pretty greedy, taking into account that Katarina just teleported. It's again stealthing in the bush, putting a shroom, going back. And now he's going for Runan's Hurricane. So that's a team fight build. Honestly, I don't really like his choice simply because of how high, how focused on AP this build is. Blue team can't contest the dragon because Teemo wasn't there in time. Akali and Katarina basically destroy everyone. Tristana is a late game monster at this point. She has 20 and 3. She can practically 1v5. Red team is a little bit disorganized. They could have gone for a Baron at this point, or they should have all pushed the turret together. We see Tristana wasting time, killing the Raptor camp with Zac. So again, this is a big misplay by Red team. They basically took nothing by week's one fight. They could have gone Baron, they could have taken a turret, they could have taken an inhibitor. But because of their bad coordination, they take nothing basically. So yeah, again, what I was saying about Runan's Hurricane, yes, it's pretty good in teamfights because you can apply the potion and the slow to everyone. But it doesn't do enough damage and the crit is useless. Again, I would have definitely gone for the Hexacuntling. I think it's super core on Teemo. The active is very strong, and the static gives are pretty good. So Tristana and Rom 2v5. Akali is wasting time top lane. Zac tries to get engaged. At this point, the red team is too far ahead. They can do whatever they want. Teemo goes for a cheesy stealth. His only hope is for Tristana to get caught. Teemo dies to Tristana, trying to kill Cat. Akali kills Fizz. And blue team basically just take the turret, take the inhib. They get the ace, and they win the game. So Akali's build is a little questionable with Titanic Hydra and 2 tank items after Hexagon Blade. But honestly, it doesn't really matter at this point. The 15k gold ahead, Tristana's a beast. And there's nothing Teemo's team can do to stop everything. So, 3 major points that I want to point out. First of all, early game CSing and harass. So Teemo did bully Akali early game, but he did not do a very good job. He did not bully her as much as he should, probably because of being scared of the enemy jungler, because at times he didn't know where he was. But you need to understand that with against a level 4 Akali, even if the jungler comes, there's no way he can kill you if you have flash up. Because Akali has no way to follow up on the engage pre-6. So Zac practically cannot gank top at any time pre-Akali level 6. And so Teemo should have taken advantage of that fact, should have taken advantage of the fact that even if Zac ganks, he's probably not going to die, and he should have played a lot more aggressive levels 1 to 5. So the second thing is, he missed a lot of CS, especially under turret, which should have never happened. So we see 229 CS at 40 minutes, which is not very good, and he has lower CS numbers than Akali, who he was bullying early game, so that's pretty bad. Now, honestly, CSing can't be helped by a replay analysis. You have to practice, you have to play more, it's going to come with time. What I do want to point out is that in some cases, Teemo had the opportunity to push an extra wave before going back, which would have maximized his CS and would have minimized the Akali CS in lane, which he didn't. So you need to remember that every time your opponent leaves lane, or every time you want to roam, you want to shove the lane in. To minimize the CS you will lose to the turret if the enemy shoves the lane back to you, and maximize the number of CS that the enemy loses by them roaming or by them not going to lane. And the third thing is an overall playstyle thing. Teemo is very good 1v1. His blind is absolutely disgusting against any champion. We saw Akali not being able to proc a Q mark at some point in the game because of Teemo's blind. So Teemo should be taking advantage of the fact that he can beat any member of the enemy team in a 1v1, possibly other than Katarina. Or the extra fed Tristana after she got Mercurial Scimitar. But again, Tristana and Katarina don't want to split 1v1 against a Teemo because they are the most important members of the teamfight comp. So what Teemo should have done is split push top, apply some pressure so that the enemy team cannot teamfight. So what he should have done is kept staying top. We see that he didn't even take the second top turret. Kill Akali every time she comes to 1v1 him, because at 20-25 minutes Teemo was still very ahead of Akali and could 1v1 her. And tell your team to stay back, try to not get the engaged opponent, disengage with Bard ult and the gap openers or gap closers if they have to. So Bard is pretty good at disengaging. His journey can be used as an escape spell for his old team. Fizz obviously has its E, Kha'Zix has his jump, Ezreal has his jump. So I wouldn't say that the 4 members of Teemo's team would have too much of a problem of disengaging from Zac's engage and staying far back so that Katarina and Tristana can't basically destroy their team. So what should have happened in this game is Teemo should have shroomed all of the top side to get vision and then kept split pushing. And when Teemo's team, when the enemy team sent 2 members top to deal with Teemo, then the team should fight 4v3. And that's the only way they had to win the game. Obviously that was impossible post 30 minutes because the red team had too much of a lead and they could fight and kill the blue team at any point. So Teemo should have started split pushing pretty early in the game to get a CS advantage over Akali. to basically become stronger and try to carry his team to a victory. This was a replay analysis by Costa, a member of the staff at Roxxare. Thank you for watching.